Now, very first story, the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force is unhappy about what it believes are the rather lenient sentences handed illegal miners by the courts when they are arrested. The Operation Vanguard team, which was inaugurated in May last year, says a slow pace of prosecution has also led to a piling up of cases. The two factors, according to Commander of the task force, Colonel Michael Amoa AEC, has left many perpetrators and their financiers encouraged to act with impunity. Ohim Interior has more.
Operation Vanguard Task Force was launched in June last year to combat illegal mining in the Ashanti, Eastern and Western region. Despite transportation and other challenges to reaching remote areas, the force has since arrested 983 defiant miners despite government ban. Foreign nationals, including 12 Chinese and 4 Burkinabes, are among those apprehended. Only 95 suspects of the number, representing less than 10%, have appeared before court, with majority on bail. Colonel Amwa Ayisi says the development is encouraging more people into illegal mining, especially at night.
The punitive measures are not adequate. Let me put it that way. That is why people are still not perturbed so much, because they think that after all, they have money. If you find them, they can pay and then get their freedom, and then they will find other ways of going back into the bush. So I think then the justice system is also quite slow. You have a lot of them. Out of this 983 that have been arrested, only 95 has been convicted. So most of them are still on bail and those things. And only God knows whether they are out of this or they go back to the bush to look for more money. So I think if you're able to speed up the trials and prosecutions and others, and also mete out adequate deterrent measures, like in terms of punishment and fines and those things, I think a lot more people will be deterred. And then also those like the landowners, traditional owners and those things, if they're able to sanction them, I think it also brings down the situation.
The force has also seized 82 arms like shot and pump action guns, 365 excavators and 3,100 dredges known as chamfai, as well as 859 water pumping machines. Colonel Amwa Ayisi, however, indicates personnel remain resolute and unperturbed to carry out their mandate.
I wouldn't say that it demoralizes, but it somehow affects in a way. It's a challenge because you keep getting the people and you don't see the results as you want to see. And you know, since we are not in that field, it has its own peculiarities and its own challenges. And therefore, we will only urge them to speed up the prosecutions and the trials so that at least people see the impact of what we are doing. It's like we are working and people are not appreciating what we are doing because they don't see the impact of what we are doing as they want to see. Because if, let's say, out of this 983 people, let's say about 700 have been jailed or something, or been prosecuted and sanctions applied to them, then people will see that it's because they say justice denied. So we think that with time they will up their game and then we'll get what we want.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohim Interior reporting.
It's been a little over 7 months now since government placed a ban on small-scale mining. The move, a bold attempt to halt the destructive effects of illegal mining on the environment and the country's water bodies, has already yielded positive results, with some of the water bodies previously browned out with mud now clearing up. JoyNews' Inathalia Kwanzaa visited Wasa Ekropong in the western region, also known as Galamsey City, and reports, though there is general support for government's resolve to correct the wrongs of illegal mining, the local economy there has been so terribly impacted, life is almost snuffed out of a once booming city.
The sound of noisy excavators and grinding machines was the sort of welcome handed visitors to Wasa Ekropong, Ghana's Galamsey capital town, some 7 months ago, as the artisanal miners milled hard stones and rocks into powder so they could extract the precious metal gold. The gold rush was just the preserve of the indigents here. It's pulled people from all over the country and the West African sub-regions, as well as some from beyond Africa. Of those who came from beyond the continent, the Chinese were the most dominant. The growing numbers over time brought pressure on the limited social amenities available. But the visitors quickly put their money to work, putting up buildings to provide housing and establishing their own market without having to turn to central governments. Restaurants, hotels, and pubs were built and businesses were booming, and along with it, devices that came with prosperity. Prostitution, high crime rates, and alignments which previously did not exist. Some 7 months on, and the story is very different here at Wassa Ekropon, the district capital of Amenfi East in the western region, about 3 hours drive from the regional capital by road. The town is quiet, almost like a cemetery. Businesses are no longer brisk. The noisy excavators and grinding machines have all gone silent. The dust has settled, and though the shops are opened, there are very few shoppers, and nightlife is more of quiet life now. Frank, once an active miner, says life in the town is not what it used to be.
Positively, I think the government has done well. But the way you think is not the way other people think. You understand? Because it has been their livelihood and there was a ban on it. You understand? So people do not have opportunity. And regulation since January last year, you understand? People have been in this hardship for a very long time. We are praying government to come early with such regulation and solutions so that people can work.
On the outskirts of Wassa Ekropon, one of the pits from where the gold was mined is now overgrown with weeds, having been abandoned in the last 7 months of the ban. For now, it remains a death trap as it is yet to be reclaimed. Less than a kilometer from the abandoned Galamsey site sits idle the heavy equipment used by illegal miners. For 1,800 cedis, they could be available for one's use for 8 hours. About 100 of them, though, are wasting away.
Our job was to repair faulty vehicles belonging to Galamsey operators. Now that it's been banned, we've also become jobless.
After the processing and all the pure gold gets to dealers like Sami and the hundreds of dealers who have opened offices here at Wassa Ekropon, he tells me his earnings have shrunk significantly since the ban.
I have been unable to pay my workers. I hold a higher national diploma, but I entered into this business because I couldn't find any job. This is how I am able to feed my family and provide for those I work with. Some of the boys who are no longer working because of the ban may start stealing from others. We are pleading with government to, as a matter of urgency, provide alternative livelihood for the youth.
Back in the town, traders at the market share similar stories. Most of the sheds here have been abandoned.
Since the ban on Galamsey, sales have declined. We are unable to repay loans. The collapse of Galamsey has really affected business.
In Athalia Kwansa, Joy News, Wassa Ekropon.
Well, this is the first of two reports. The second part will look at the impact on nightlife. You're still watching JoyNews Prime here on JoyNews on Multi TV. They know no stopping in their determination to get education despite the odds. Their poor parents' inability to fund their education is not a hindrance. JoyNews' Muhammad Nuruddin tells a story of youth at Ata Ukura in the Kintampo North municipality of the Bunahafu region who are engaged in the charcoal business to survive.
It has been a long and tiring working day for Jacoba Bafanaya. At 25, the second-year distance learning student of the University of Cape Coast has been loading charcoal here every day. He has been doing this since his senior high school days to pay fees. What Bafanaya does is to wait here with friends until vehicles come. They carry loads onto the vehicles from which they earn 20 Ghana cedis each per session.
The work I do home is charcoal loading. I save this gradually for my fees. When the fees comes, though my father is alive, but when the school comes, I cannot put all effort on my father. So I have to, also load, save money small, out to my father, go pay my fees. This village, for instance, there is no work doing, so the main source of getting income is the charcoal loading.
For him, this is the only way he can access education.
If you stop it, how will you get money to go and pay your fees? So far as there is no work, you understand? So there is no work, so you need to do it.
Bafanaya is not alone. Sadia is also in the second year at the same university. Her father is late. She lives together with her widowed mother and 6 siblings. Sadia sells charcoal to support her family and also to cater for her own education.
My father passed away, so nobody is there to cater for me, left with only my mother. And she can't struggle alone to support my education. That's why I joined here to bend the charcoal. It's very difficult, but no means I have to do it.
Mekano pa, she said me kwa jina bidie mu kura se me ya mekano. Se ma pom de ntimi nkoso se ne wo na me ne ye no. Mekano. Akasa mekano de ameboa.
What I have to tell the whole world is that nobody should regret in life. Everything is by God. Now I don't have a father, and I don't have a job to support my education. By true praise and belief, I'm getting charcoal business to be doing. That's what I'm doing to support my education. If you are very hardworking, you can attain your goals.
Bafanaya and Sadia are just 2 of many students in the area who are confronted with poverty, food, water scarcity, as well as perpetual insecurity. Perhaps the reason the town has been performing dismally in national examination, except for a few above average performances. Bafanaya and Sadia, who spend many hours out of school, would have to sit for the end of semester exams with their colleagues. For now, their hope is to be able to finish their university education to lay a foundation for brighter future. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Watching JoyNews Prime. Still ahead in the bulletin, commuters and motorists complain about some of Accra's most pothole-riddled roads and its impact on their personal economies.
When you buy the spare part, it will spoil and you go to Abasokan. So when you work, you don't get any money. What your income, you go and use to buy spare parts.
And Gender and Social Protection Minister embroiled in child adoption dispute. Will bring you that court case. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a bit. The Minister for Gender and Social Protection, Otiku Afisa Jaba, is embroiled in a legal tussle over a refusal of a court order to release an adopted child to a legal parent. The parents, who have been facing off with the minister over the past 2 months, are seeking to bring contempt charges against her for failing to comply with the court order. Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Dame, representing the Social Protection Minister on Monday, attempted to move a motion that would have put the order on hold. This was, however, objected to by lawyers for the parents of the adopted child, arguing the minister had failed to obey an earlier court order directing the release of the child, and that it made it inappropriate for the request to be made. Trial Judge Justice Kofi Dogu overruled the objection, saying the AG could move the motion since it was entirely from the earlier court order. The court adjourned hearing to February 7, 2018. The case involves a toddler, Abba Esselram, caught up in a custody battle between the state and their legal parents, largely because of a revision in Ghana's adoption procedure. She is currently set to be housed in a residential facility provided for by the state. JoyNews will be following the case to bring you details of what appears to be an intriguing story. The Deputy Attorney General on Monday declined to comment on why the AG is involved in the matter. About 3,000 applicants had to be screened in the Western Regional Capital Takoradi for possible placement into the Ghana Police Service. The week-long recruitment selection program, which began Monday, January 29, will lead to a written examination on Sunday, February 4, in Nathalia Kwansa's report.
The Western Regional Police Recruitment Selection Center in Takoradi is screening about 3,000 applicants who were shortlisted through an online application which began in November last year. The week-long exercise will focus on physicals and documentation, among others. The height for males per the police standard is 5.8 and 5.4 feet for females. Commissioner of Police designated for the Western Region, who is also the second in command at the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Unit, PIPS, DCOP Bongayosa disclosed that all applicants will write an examination on Sunday, irrespective of their fate at the physicals.
We examine the documents that they use to fill for the application to see whether indeed they qualify. When this is done, those who will proceed on after this stage, those who will be successful, will now go in to write an exam. Will go in to write an exam, which will be marked, and those who will pass will also proceed to the next stage.
The screening exercise, according to DCOP Bongayosa, does not have a specific number of personnel to be recruited for now until after the entire exercise, which includes medical screening. He says applicants who are degree holders will write their exams at a later date yet to be communicated.
Today we will have the graduate applicants. The graduate applicants, they will not write any exam after the screening here. Their exam will be conducted later. A date will be given them so that they will come to Accra for their exam.
In Nathalia Kwansa's report for Joy News.
Elsewhere, the Director General of the Ghana Police Service in charge of public affairs, ATP David Eklu, has advised parents, friends and relatives of prospective recruits to stay off recruitment exercise centers to enable the police do their work. He stated that their presence at the centers will create problems for the recruits. ATP David Eklu gave the advice at the ongoing police recruitment exercise in WAM. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
The 475 prospective police recruits scheduled to undergo the next phase of the recruitment exercise on Monday were at the Nasiri Bomi the second park 2 clear hours before the start of the exercise. Over 1,300 successful applicants in the next 6 days are expected to go through rigorous inspection of their original certificates, body selection, physical screening to ensure that they meet the standard requirement of the Ghana Police Service. Representing the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, here is the Director General in charge of Public Affairs, ACP David Eklu. He threw more light on the exercise.
Thursday we are expecting to screen 475 people. Tomorrow it will continue to Wednesday. Then Thursday and Friday will be for tradesmen, and then Saturday for graduate applicants. So all those applicants have been notified by text messages. So they are coming as per the message that was specified in the text messages that were sent out to applicants. We are looking at the height. You must meet a certain standard height. Your physique must meet certain standards. You are also looking at your posture, which should be up to the standards of a police officer.
Mingpion Nicholas dreamt of joining the service and had qualified for the first stage. He now has his dream truncated, at least for now, after going through the body selection and screening exercise here.
When I go to where they are always checking the scars and then whether you are fit or not, that is where they say I'm disqualified. I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
I don't know why they disqualify me. They should have told me the reason why I'm disqualified.
Our checks later revealed that Mingpion was disqualified because he was flat-footed. ACP David Ekulu advanced reasons why persons who are flat-footed are not suited for the policing job.
The job requires that you wear a certain kind of boots, for a very long time. And also the training that you are going to go is rigorous. And it also requires that you stamp your foot or feet on the ground as part of the parade. And if you have that feature where your foot is flat, at least it should be a curve so that it will enable you to wear the boot to enable you to withstand the rigors of the job. So for health reasons, it is not advisable that if you put your foot on the ground, there should be some small gap between your feet, your foot, and then the ground. That is a basic thing. That's what we mean by flat foot. So if you remove your sandals now or your shoes now and you step on the ground, it should not be flat on the ground. At least there should be some curve. That's what we mean by flat foot.
Unlike in the military recruitment exercise, where ladies who are heavily endowed at the back or front are disqualified, their counterparts here are okayed. The Director General of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service has this message for the public.
This is an exercise where we need the best for the Ghana Police Service. We would advise parents not to accompany their wards to the centers because their wards are adults and they cannot influence the process. The more they bring their wards and they accompany their wards, it creates problems. We are giving opportunity to everybody. You can see that, as you can see from the queue, it is progressing steadily. There's nobody jumping the queue and we don't want any confusion. And we want to assure them that the best qualified will be taken to join the Ghana Police Service.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
A tipper truck Monday morning ran into 5 other vehicles after its brakes failed near the Leupland station on the Achimota-Fankor Road in Accra. All 5 cars were badly damaged. Efwa Evans Chinre was there for JoyNews.
I'm at the Achimota police station where damaged vehicles from an accident that occurred this morning involving a tanker and a tipper truck have been deposited. Now, what actually happened was that this tipper truck loaded with sand failed its brake and hit 5 other cars in front of it. And one of the cars is this tanker you see right next to me. Now, this tanker is filled with water, not diesel, as some reports that we had earlier indicated. So when the tipper truck hit this tanker, some of the water in the tanker spilled onto the street. And most people thought that it was diesel, so they were asked to avoid that very road. I spoke to one of the drivers whose car has been badly damaged, and he was visibly shaken. I mean, he said that he did not expect this to happen. He was out headed to work, and this occurred.
Due to the traffic, so the traffic light was on, so we all stopped. All I could hear was like noise. So I just turned and just checked back. I was just hit by a taxi that was after me. So I was just pushed to one of this, I think this frames oil tank. So I just went under with it.
That was a vehicle in front of you?
That was a vehicle in front of me. So I was pushed by, let's say, 3 cars. That is the tipper truck, the frames oil truck, tanker, then also the taxi. So I was the one that was, look at all this force that is, pushed my vehicle under the car. So we just thank God. No, I was in front of the tanker. So that is 3 behind me. So that are 3 forces that really pushed and hit the other tanker too. So the tankers were 2. The tipper truck hit 1 tanker. The tanker hit the taxi. Then the taxi also hit me. Then I also hit the other tanker ahead of me.
This Iveco truck was descending from the overpass. And according to the driver, when he descended, he noticed that there was traffic buildup from the ABC junction. So he tried to slow down, but he noticed that his brakes had failed him. So he went on to hit a tanker, which fortunately was empty. There was no fuel in it. Then the tanker also went ahead to hit other cars, and in all 5 cars were involved in the accident. 2 people are injured and they are currently receiving treatment at the hospital.
We're taking a break here on JoyNews Prime to bring you business news. And coming up in business, businesses still lament high cost of power as major setback to market competitiveness. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a bit.
Hello again, good evening to you. Time for business. The high cost of electricity to industry and businesses is still identified as a major setback to making the competitive market for businesses. Despite the announcement by President Akufo-Addo for some tariff reliefs for industry, the Public Utility Regulatory Commission is yet to implement the directive by the President. In an exclusive interview with Joy Business, Chief Executive of B5+, one of the steel manufacturing companies in Ghana, is calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, review the tariff structure for manufacturing companies. There's more in this report.
Ghana is said to be among countries with the highest electricity tariff in the West African sub-region, a situation many industrial bodies like the Association of Ghana Industries, Private Enterprise Foundation, among others, describe as an unfriendly business policy. According to Chief Executive of B5+, Mukesh Takwani, the call by industries for a reduction in the tariff structure should be seen by government as a move to improve Ghana's competitiveness in the African region.
Things are going well. We had some backup power generation. We were able to use that one. That was a bit expensive, but at least we were able to sail out. So we'll request government that they should make sure that in the future this kind of issues, this kind of problems should not come. But I think we still have one big challenge. That is about the cost of electricity, what we are getting. If we really want to make Ghana competitive, I think the most important aspect will be how we can make it competitive by all aspects of it, not by only saying that we will make a made in Ghana dream true, but made in Ghana dream will be only true if the electricity, which is the major important aspect of it, the water, they have to be really very competitive. So we'll request government to really look into the pricing of the electricity which is coming up. And we really highly support the one district, one factory policy of government. I think that will really boost the economy. That will really make the things more lucrative. But again, I will say provided that government is able to, as promised, they'll be able to bring in the electricity and water where we want to put up our factories.
Apart from the call for reviewing the tariff structure, some industries are also considering other alternative sources of power, including the renewable energy. B5+ is one of such companies.
100%. We are really looking for other options as well. I think that's the right way to do it. I think we are looking for the wind energy as well, and we are looking for solar as well. For solar, we have done a bit of headways also, so we are looking for all the options which will be available. We'll put it that way, solar industry year on year is becoming really competitive. So we believe that in the near future, with being we into the equator zone, I think we'll be able to generate more power from solar energy for sure in the near future.
For your company?
Yes, surely. I think a small initiative what we have done is that today, if you see, we don't have heaters, you know, all the heating system, we have started with the solar. We have started putting some solar lights as well, you know.
Local industries are looking for a friendly tariff structure in order to meet demands.
The president of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Kwame Adukufuor, is pledging to partner small-scale miners to improve their operations to ensure sustainable mining. Small-scale mining, which forms 34% of Ghana's mining sector, is currently under a ban by government to enable it to regularize activities in the sector. Kwame Adukufuor says the Chamber of Mines is committed to supporting improved mining industries. He was speaking at the launch of the Chamber's 90th anniversary celebration. The Chamber of Mines was set up on the 6th of June 1928 with the main aim of becoming the unifying mouthpiece of mining companies operating in the country, as well as championing their cause. With a current membership of 58, the Chamber continues to contribute significantly towards economic development. Under the theme, A Responsible, Sustainable Mining Industry Partner for National Development, the Chamber will use this year's celebration to re-examine its priorities as engine of growth for the economy. The president of the Chamber, Kwame Adukufuor, who launched the 90th anniversary celebration, noted his commitment to making varied opportunities known to the public for enhanced local content participation.
Our position as a chamber is that the future of mining is responsible mining, is sustainable mining. So if the government is putting steps in place to ensure that happens, then we must support them to do that. I believe once the ban is lifted, we will have a much stronger and more vibrant small-scale sector. And we as a chamber are committed to partnering them to improve the standards of mining. In fact, we are discussing various collaborations which we can put in place to support them with their safety and environmental capacity building, and we will be supporting them once the ban is lifted on improving the way they mine, the technology and the safety aspects.
Answering questions later from journalists, Kwame Adukufo noted the Chamber's preparedness to assist the small-scale mining sector to improve its performance towards sustainable mining after the ban on their activities is finally lifted.
The Chamber is keen on making public the opportunities in our value chain, and in line with this, we launched about 3 months ago the local content portal, which provides transparency and an insight into the procurement plans of our members and gives local businesses the opportunity to participate in these opportunities.
Activities for the celebration of the anniversary starts from the first quarter of this year. Government is to establish a board for the cashew industry later this year. This should happen after President Akufo-Addo launches the 10-year development plan for the cashew industry next month in Wenchi in the Brahafo region. The move, according to the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, is to help better regulate activities in the sector. Eric Amwakuchum is the Deputy Chief Executive of the authority.
That is meant to happen on the 20th of February in Wenchi. And some work has actually already been done in respect to that. I think that in the last few years, there's been several attempts to regulate that particular sector, and then also make sure that we place a lot of emphasis on it because of its potential and the fact that it actually also provides a lot of employment. And then, like I indicated earlier, there's a lot of potential in terms of, one, increasing the production of the crop itself, the processing facilities that abound, and of course the jobs that it creates, both direct and indirect jobs. Cashew globally actually has a 10 to 14% increase in demand every year. And for us, we feel that if we're able to give it some focus, would actually in the next 10 to 15 years would be competing with cocoa as one of the major export products that we have. There's going to be a setting of a cashew development board, and that is something that's also going to be part as an integral part of the plan to make sure that the various aspects of the value chain is taken care of, and then of course there's regulation.
And that's all in business tonight. Thank you so much for watching. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.
Now, if you ever thought bad roads are only in the hinterland, you may want to change your position, as some roads in Kwabenya and the Dominic Kwabenya constituency are in a pretty terrible state. As part of our JoyNews agenda on roads this week, Marcel Agbagba visited the community in the capital to meet a taxi driver, Frederick Esiedu, who says he now spends more than double of his income on spare parts. The 30-year-old taxi driver says it is dangerous to drive on some of the roads as the dust sometimes blurs his vision. More in this report.
The roads here are full of potholes as vehicles plying the route dodge the deep holes on the stretch. Commercial drivers in Kwabenya are those who are badly affected by the terrible state of the roads. Frederick Esiedu is one of them. Even as he screams to get the attention of passengers, he's also concerned about his expenditure on spare parts.
Is it Kwabenya to what? Kwabenya to Brekuso Road. Yeah. Okay. The challenges are more because looking at the road is very bad. So you have been begging the municipal people to come in. You have been going to Abokobi so that they will come to our head, but they are not been coming. So now you are tired of buying spare parts and here and there, going to Abosokan every day and there. When you buy the spare part, it will spoil and you go to Abosokan. So when you work, you don't get any money. What your income, you go and use it to buy spare parts. So it's very bad. This road has been here since 2000.
The Member of Parliament for Dome Kwabenya Adwasafo is aware of Frederick's challenges and that of his colleague drivers. At an event to start the rehabilitation of the new Agbogba Hacho, Dome Pillar 2, Kwabenya and Abokobi roads last year, she stated, quote, "As a member of parliament of this constituency, I'm very much aware of the negative effects our bad road network has on the operations of residents of the constituency. Drivers who ply on these bad roads charge you extra for the simple reason that they have to frequently visit the workshop because of the persistent breakdown of their vehicles," unquote. Frederick is also worried about the poor state of visibility on some of the roads. He says the dust on some of the untarred ones blur his vision.
It's very bad. Even look at the dusty. So when it rains, some cars, you cannot go, you cannot load and go. Very dangerous, very, very dangerous, as you know the rules of driving. Because you can see some cars coming with a tall speed. Because of the dust, you cannot see far. So you have to slow down for the dust to go down before you can drive. So it's very dangerous. Enter in our car, you shock. Because the passengers will be shouting on that, they think you are not keeping our car neat. You always keep our car neat. When you pass on the road going to and fro, just to and fro, master, you see that this car has been washed like 3 years. But every day when you close from work, you have to go and wash your car. But the next day, you'll be on the route. When you see the car, as if you not wash it since 4 years.
The painting of the structures along some of the streets of Kwabenya have turned brownish as a result of the dust from some of the untarred roads. Residents and drivers like Frederick want authorities to address the situation. Maxwell Agbagba, JoyNews.
There's mounting pressure on government by porters and traders of earthenware in parts of the Brahafo region for implementation of the one district, one factory policy there. The Kuvado-led administration has had a year so far, and youth of the Brahafo regional town of Tanoso insist the factory would harness the resource potential of the area. JoyNews' Gifty Andwapia has been there in our report.
This road off the main asphalted Accra Sunyan stretch leads to a town called Kwayedu. It is one of many scattered communities in which earthenware production is the main source of employment for dozens of youth. Thousands of these are produced here every day. Nanayao is one of the key hands here. He has been doing this since he completed senior high school 4 years ago. He and his team go through 4 tedious steps to make your favorite earthenware bowl, known in local parlance as ayua or asanka. The process starts with softening clay. I decided to give it a try.
And so let's see. Okay, so it's actually very difficult to put it in and get it out. But of course, I'm a strong woman, so.
Oh, no.
I can confirm that it's actually a lot of hard work. But this is just the second step of the work that they do here. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of effort that goes in it. But for how much? We'll find out. Okay.
It was not as easy as it appeared from afar. From here, the clay is needed to remove tiny stones so it can be shaped into a bowl.
A lot of people know how to make this in that flower pot, and the bees, all these things can help the youth so that they can get job to do. One district, one factory, what we are expecting from the government to do is to come and get a big land, so a site for us, so that all of us can move there.
It is then heated in the furnace to make it harder and durable. Nanayao tells me the process of producing earthenware is not only tedious, but comes with a few bodily harms.
Have you seen my hand covered with salt tape?
Yes.
If I don't use this, all my hand become wound. There will be a wound, yeah, because it's painful, yeah.
Nanayao has many unemployed friends. One of them is Evans Bar. Unlike Nanayao, he lost his job as a caretaker of a shop and found his way here even though his services are not needed.
By this time, me and you are talking, I want to go to Accra. I want to go and do shoemaker. I know how to drive motorcane. I can use that work, but I don't have enough money to go. This one, you call it a filing. I can do one filing. If I get that filing, I can take car and go to the place I want. Even boutique, I go stay there. The one, the straight 140 is not yet come, but I have to go. When it comes, I will be back and do some.
There are many young people like Nanayao and Evans here in Tanoso. They are either eager to work or risk migrating to the capital, which is already choked and houses a chunk of the nation's unemployed youth. Most of those who work at this pottery and the entire township say their hope is built on government's one district, one factory promise made prior to the 2016 elections.
This is a finished product of clay dug from the ground, free of charge, and they have it in abundance in this area. For the youth here, this is a source of livelihood. They're looking forward to one district, one factory that will make their jobs easier, better, and maximize their profits. Until that happens, they might as well continue in the hard work or lose hope. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Tanoso, in the Bunahavu region.
It appears the new technology of using plastic bottles to build is fast catching up. Marshall Zohumbogo is using this new innovation to build a literacy center for the Kurkubiti community here in Accra. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has more.
To most of us, this is just film. But Bruce Marshall Zohumbogo sees raw materials to build. Painstakingly collects these discarded plastic bottles and turns them into something very useful. Marshall is using these bottles to build a literacy center for the Kurkubiti community.
This idea of building with plastic bottle came to me after the June disaster, while I was talking with friends in UK, and the possibility for we Ghanaians to find a solution with the plastic waste. And through the conversation, I got in touch with one gentleman called Andreas. Invited him in Ghana to teach me how to use the plastic bottle to construct houses, school building, chair, seat, anything you can do with the plastic bottle.
He brings the students together to fill the bottles with sand, gets them sealed, and then with mortar made from a fine mixture of clay and cement, the plastic bottles filled with sand are carefully arranged, laid like brick and mortar.
You need to compact the sand, any type of soil, into the bottle, whether it's big or small. And the small one are the pillars, and the big one constitute the wall. So when you fill it, you pack it, then we use the rope to tie it and follow the technology, and we use it to build the.
This new technology is initiated by a Ghanaian, using plastic bottles to build houses or construct houses. Perhaps tomorrow, this bottle could be separating my bedroom from my living room.
To this level.
The mud-filled bottle is as strong as a brick.
It will not collapse. It's earthquake free. When there's earthquake, the building will shake. And you will see, what you will see, the difference is here, the building will shake and then the bottle will move. And what we do, we just take your hand, or slight wood, just to push the bottle back. And then you can do you plaster back, and then you have, instead of when we the block, you have crack, and then the building or sometimes fall down. This, it will not fall.
Could this be the end of homeless people living on the street of Accra and in Ghana? For Joy News, I am Kwesi Parker Wilson, Accra.
7-man ban on small-scale mining takes a heavy toll on the once booming mining town of Wassa Ekropon, virtually bringing the whole town to its knees. Meanwhile, the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force has had cause to complain about the rather lenient sentences handed those who defy the ban on small-scale mining. Commuters and motorists complain about some of Accra's most pothole-riddled roads and its impact on their personal economies. Gender and Social Protection Minister embroiled in child adoption dispute. And businesses still lament high cost of power as major setback to market competitiveness.